so we just talked about this contest that Elijah set up to prove who the true God is. Which God answers prayer? Is it any other God, or is it the Lord that we worship today? So for you to get this point, I don't want you just to read the Bible and just not actually think it actually happened. So I'm here this morning at my grandparents' farm in a field with the cows that are representing the bulls that were used for this contest. So first up were the prophets of Baal. It was their turn to take a bull and to put it on the altar. So just imagine taking one of these cows representing a bull. Just imagine taking one of these, killing it, and putting it on an altar. And they do that, and they start calling out to their God. They say, "Oh Baal, answer us," they shouted, but nothing was happening. So they're not only praying, they start dancing around. They start screaming to Baal. They're praying to their God, and they have a bull on the altar. And they're praying, and they're trying to get their God's attention. But after many hours, the Bible says, but there was no response, no one answered, no one paid attention, and the bull that they had on the altar was still laying there after they had prayed for hours. So the prophets of Baal were crying for hours and no one answered them. Their God did not answer them. So now it was Elijah's turn to take a bull and to put it on the altar. So just imagine taking one of these cows and Elijah's turn to put it on the altar. So that's exactly what he did. And we read in our Bibles, he built the altar, he put a bull on it, and then he did something crazy. He poured some water on it. Remember, he was calling to God to basically blow this bull up, but he pours some water on it, which we don't know exactly why, but he pours water on it, and it's going to prove that only God can answer his prayer. So Elijah has his bull on the altar, and he starts praying, and he prays a few things, but at the end of his prayer, he says, "Oh Lord, answer me." So these people will know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again. Elijah has a bull on the altar, and he prays, and he says, one of the reasons, God, I want you to answer my prayer is so that all of these people, the hundreds of people, that they know that you are God. So after Elijah prays, and he says, God basically says, God, I want you to do this so that everyone knows you are God. And he prays, and remember, he has a bull on the altar in front of him, and he prays, and in the Bible, in 1 Kings in the Bible, you can look down, it says in verse 38, then, after he prays, it says, the fire of the Lord fell, and basically God's fire came down, and it burned up the bull, it burned up the altar, it says it licked up the water that he poured on top of it. And after God answered the prayer, that was the answer, it says, when all the people saw this, they fell prostrate and cried, the Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God. The prophets of Baal, they cried for hours and nothing happened. Elijah calls on the name of our God. God answers, and everyone declares, the Lord, He is God.